Is it working? Are we actually getting a halfway decent upload? It looks like it is. I'm kind of watching my own stream. It's a little delayed, but that's normal for any streaming. It's a much clearer image. So, yeah. Looks like it's fixed. Took a little bit of finessing, but it looks like it's working. So, there. I fixed it. Can you hear the air conditioning? Is it nasty loud? I'm annoyed. Yes. I did a lot of finagling with that thing. I'm hardwired right now. You can see the wire laying on my floor, which should help. It's still not super fast, but it's about as fast as my internet normally goes anyways. Because I'm actually getting, after the reset, I'm getting like near twice my download speed. How long that'll last, I highly doubt it'll last very long. Should download a bunch of crap right now. Because I'm only on a 210 plan. It's 200 down, 10 up. Which is kind of, I don't get the whole 10 up thing. If you got 200 down, why can't I have 200 up? I don't get the whole why it's not the same. It's transferring the little datas back and forth. You're transferring datas one way or the other. I don't get it. It's the same freaking piece of wire, but whatever. Anyway, on that note, we are live, and it is seeming to be working. Let me view it again. View on Twitch. And it's connecting, and everything's loading really fast except for the actual video. And it's pretty clear. It's not perfect, but then I'm not broadcasting perfect anyway, so I'm only doing 720. Through StreamYard, so, and everything's flowing. I'm not getting digital errors. So it seems to be working now. Seems to be. I had a feeling that thing just needed to be reset, which I hadn't done in a while. I've done the whole unpluggy thing, but I don't know what the difference is. I'm not super geeky, but a couple times a year, you usually have to go to Comcast's little website and go do a hard reset, and they send their signal to it, and it just like completely reboots the whole thing, and all of a sudden start flashing, and it's basically the same thing as just unplugging it. But I guess like they wipe anything on it. The only thing they leave is your network name and password, and that's it. And it just wipes the whole modem router, which I have a feeling is all it needed. It just needed a good hard freaking cleaning. It needed to be douched. Because I'm not getting the warning anymore from StreamYards or anything. So anyway, there's that. And I'm kind of stuck in my room here because the heat is bothering me. I have a feeling my brother was here yesterday, and nobody's even here watching. And I reset everything. And it says I'm streaming on YouTube, which I don't care about. And I reset everything, and everything is good. And the world is now good. I should change the name to Less Annoyed. Less Annoyed Llama. Still annoyed, I'm just less annoyed. Just a little less. So, anyway. Oh, look, the blue tape I left there. I left my blue tape roll hanging on the printer that never got built. I gotta build another printer. That's what I should really be doing, is designing and building another printer. That involves running this thing, and I am not running this thing right now. And it's not even that hot out. 31 degrees Celsius. Hey Siri, what in Fahrenheit is 31 degrees Celsius?
31 degrees Celsius is 87.8 degrees
They're
Fahrenheit.
both doing it. My phone and my iPad, and they're both reading it back. So 87 out. It's saying it's 87 degrees out, which is, it's hot, but that's not extreme hot. But I'm even being warm, it's bothering me. Like, I'm okay sitting in here. I go outside in the heat and I get instant headache. My head will start spinning. It started happening this morning. And went out in the garage and played for about 10 minutes. I'm like, I'm not touching any freaking power equipment with saws and cutting my fingers off. Not with my head spinning. So I didn't do too much outside today. When I came in here and I started firing up the air conditioning, and I actually put the faceplate back on it. I don't know if you've seen it before, but there was no faceplate on it before. And I had to find it. I've been actually looking for it. Been looking for the faceplate for that freaking air conditioner. This is a pull-out air conditioner. It's a dual use. You can window mount it like I have it, or it's one of those you can like cut a hole in the wall and permanently mount, and the actual unit slides out of the carriage. So like in the winter, I could actually leave the mount in the window and just pull the works out. Or, it's actually kind of nice because it's a big heavy, it's a 10 or a 12. I have two of those. I bought them at the same time. I have a 12 and a 10. The problem is you can't tell the difference. Everyone's like, oh, you look at the serial code. Well, the serial code's on the case, not on the actual unit. Everything on the units matches. The compressor sizes, all that stuff seem to match. I can't tell the difference. I shouldn't say that. Compressors are different, but I can't. I search the compressor numbers and I can't tell you which one's different. They both slide into the same carriages. I have a feeling there's really no difference. Like they're both like 10s or they're both 12s and they just changed their, but whatever. One was $50 more than the other for the 1200 BTU than the 10,000 BTU or whatever it was. 12,000 to 10,000. Anyway, I bought the two of them at the same time, probably 10 years ago. Yeah, it's been about 10 years since I bought those, and they work fine. I don't know. Can you hear it running? It just kicked back on again. They're kind of weird. They're really nice, and yet they're really not. It's like right now, it's not actually running. It's pulling air through it. Just the fan is running. The actual compressor isn't. And like every 3 to 5 minutes, it kicks on the fan and then kicks it right back off again. And it just senses. It pulls air to sense what's going on in the room. So the fan kicks on every 5 minutes. It doesn't necessarily kick on the compressor. It just kicks on the fan. Pulls air through it, says, okay, the temperature is this, humidity is this. Do I need to kick on? And then if it senses stuff it doesn't like, it kicks it on. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And it just kicks off again like it did. In other words, it says, okay, there's the low, because that's the other thing is I have it set on humidity, not air conditioning. It's a dehumidifier, which lowers the temperature also with the way that's set up. But it actually I don't have it on dry right now. I have it on energy saver. But normally I have it on dry, which just goes by room humidity, and it just lowers the humidity. But it still cools the room, dehumidifying, unlike a normal dehumidifier, because a normal dehumidifier pulls it through and it uses the hot and cold, and it just pulls it in, cools it, but then it blows it back over the hot coils. It just pulls the moisture off of the out of the air because it's got no place to vent it. This vents the hot air back outside. So it still cools the room dehumidifying, but its priority is to dehumidify, which it works pretty well. And it kicks it on less often with the dry. But yeah, the fan will kick on every like 3 to 5 minutes for no apparent reason, which it's, there is a reason. It's actually sensing the air conditions. So I hardwired the computer to it. I really kind of always wanted to do it anyways, instead of using the Wi-Fi, but I need a longer one. It's not really long enough. It's like a 15 footer, which this room's 12 foot long, so it barely reaches. I had another one, which I was going to use. It's a little bit longer. I think it's a 25 footer, but the end's cut off. The hell good is that? Who cut off the end of my damn wire? I think my brother actually did. He needed the end. I just pinched it together. So, yeah. There's that. Everything's still good? Seems to be. I'm watching my own stream, and I'm doing both at the same time, and it seems like a pretty good stream, so it's streaming pretty streamy. It's dreaming the streaming. Let's see what's going on Twitter. I want to kind of see if this thing bogs down when I start doing other stuff, because it has in the past. Oh, look at the cute little dragon. Flexi Factory's new T-Rex is amazing. That is kind of cute. What's going on Facebook? What's going on my stream? Absolutely nothing's going on my stream. Nothing, not a thing. But everything is loading much faster. And like I said, I was getting wicked fast downloads. I was before even, but it's even faster after the hard reset. Again, I'm paying for 200 download, 10 upload, which is, I still don't get the whole 10 upload thing, but whatever. As long as it's enough to stream on. Where'd Sergio go? Let's text Sergio. I need my glasses. I can't see my damn phone. Somewhere there I have Sergio. I think it's fixed. Let's see what Sargento says. Sargento cheese. I like to call him Sargento cheese. Oh, go! I'm all tired. Now I don't want to stream. I was gonna work on, stuff, and now I'm just not. I'm just not good. Just not doing it. That's all there is to it. Who else is on Twitchications? I don't have Twitch on this browser. I've been moving stuff around on my computer too. I'm trying the application bar. Nobody really. MakerDeck. MakerDeck's always Titan's Revenge. He's streaming, but he's been he started streaming a while. 10-4. He says 10-4. Okay. didn't know we were on CBs, but sure. I haven't seen a CB in like 20 years. We were all into it. My father was all into the CBs when I was a kid. Back in the, I want to say, I think it was the 70s when we were using CBs on the cars. Had the big CB with the 10-4, good buddy, talking to the truckers. Used to do that a lot when I was young. Look at that, I can see without the dot in my eyeball. That's a new and amazing thing. So anyway, I was going to do some modeling. Don't know if I'm going to. Because I have a feeling that's just one more annoying thing. How's the mail going? Mail's good. Good. Everything seems to be working. Anyone who wants to hop in, since there's nobody here. I finally remember what Zoom meetings remind me of. Yeah. Police officer step out of the vehicle, so me. 94 degrees. You get in and tell me the problem in the AC. I like that. Too hot out. Don't get out of the car. Come into the car, officer. Hang out in the air conditioning. You work too hard to be in the hot air. Amazon Basics batteries. They keep changing their labels depending on, I'm guessing, who they contract to make them cheap for them that year, that day. Amazon batteries. So, let's do a speed test on this here thing. Speed test already loaded. Run test. We'll watch it together. Oh, it's not going to show. Oh, there you go. See, I'm at least getting like 6, and that's through Wi-Fi on this wicked old iPad. So I'm getting 18 down and like 6 or 7 up on this iPad, which isn't terrible through the Wi-Fi on this antique iPad. What year is this thing? What year is this thing? Let's find out just for giggles. It's 2019. No. This thing's older than that, isn't it? This one might be newer. Still. It's their super cheapo basic iPad. Bottom of the line, they're $350. What do they got for iPads now? Let's go to Apple and find out. Just for fun. Share the screen. Share screen. Everything is being much more responsive. Share the screen. Sharing the screen. Split off the window so I can see what I'm doing myself. Let's do that. Come on now. That's a good window. Do what I tell you. Yep, let's go to Apple official site. And what's their bottom of the line iPad nowadays? iPad Basic. $329, which isn't terrible. Everyone's like, oh, Apple's so overpriced. Semi-equivalent tablet on a PC, Droid, Windows, whatever side is about the same price. Tech specs, what are they now? 64, which this isn't even, I think that's a 16. I don't even think it's a 32. What else do they got on there? What are they using for the processor now? Slow-mo video. 72 frames per second. New 12 megapixel. Overview. How do I find out the old specs for this old one? Which I know they have. See what they have in refurbed. Bottom of the site. Refurbished. Refurb iPads. An iPad Air. I don't want an iPad Air. There's no need for it. It's the most. Wouldn't mind a Pro. Which is Wi-Fi. $519 for a refurbished 11-inch. And it's kind of too much. Don't want an Air. The Air just makes no sense to me. I don't care what color it is. Unless one's cheaper than the other. That's an 11-inch too. That's bigger than this one. I'm pretty sure that's like a 9. And I need to plug it in because it's running out of battery. Boom. Alrighty then. Refurbished iPad Pro. I wouldn't mind a Pro because then I could use the bigger pen and I could actually model on that. Too bad I don't have, $600 by the time you're done with taxes and everything and shipping and, well, I don't think they charge you shipping. Add to bag. Yeah, okay, not. What's going on Twitter? Y'all can see my Twitter account. Coding is also not a way to relate to that. What do you do for fun apart from 3D printing? Hang out. What the hell's going on here? A bubble bath, sharing more fun stuff because why not? They're making bubbles. Lots and lots of bubbles. This cat does not look happy. What's going on Facebook? Grizzly, I have a few products I'm looking to get you. These items have never been used. Never been used? Wow. Water sewing machine, bench top drill press, horizontal vertical belt sander. $550. That's not too much if they're never in use. Oh, he changed it. It's still too high if they're, what are they? Let's go look. Grizzly. I'm just bored. Grizzly tools. What has he got? Let's start with the planer. Because that's the only thing I would really. The planer and the dust collector, if it's a bigger one than I got. No thanks, not right now. $695 for the 13-inch. $940. Is that what he's got? Yep, the 940. $579. $695. So it's $100 off. A little more. What's he got for the dust collector? $550. $759. So that's a couple $100 off. That's the one, right? 1666. 1666, which is actually a shop fox, not a grizzly. And that's kind of, no, that's more than mine. Mine's a 1 horsepower. I have the 1 horsepower. I have this thing right there. Older version, but it's the same damn thing. I don't think they've changed it any. I would like to get something like this one, either one of those, really, just because I want to stand in the bag here to catch, and then I'd pipe that right out the door. Because I have the separator I 3D printed in between bandsaws. 18-inch, look at that monstrosity. 14-inch, 2 horsepower, or a resaw bandsaw. That kind of looks just like the one I just got. I mean, almost exactly. Even though it's a Shop Fox, mine's a same table. It looks like the dust extractor on mine actually goes out the back, not the side, but that's about the only difference. Here's the Grizzly version. That's a tiny little thing. Doesn't have the height. Well, it looks like it does. Maximum cutting height, 12 inches. It's the same height. That's the actual cast iron body. Where these are, this one. These are steel welded tubes, which is fine. Either one of them works. Is there anybody even here? Nope. Nobody's watching but me. Ah, boy. I got bandsaw blades. I was going to say I should look at some bandsaw blades, but I got enough. I just got to wait for my brother to come down. I got 2 now on me. What is up, Marcus? You want to come hang out? Oops, wrong freaking thing. Invite. Copy the clipboard. Copied. Command B. Come hang out. I need somebody to talk to. And I want to test how good this is going. Can you hear the AC in the mic and all that? Euro style blade guides. What is a Euro style blade guide? Oh, look at those. Aren't those fancy? Why would you want it's got ball bearings? Oh, I see. The lower ones aren't bearings. It's a frickin' steel trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. What does Grizzly got for power tools? Look at this crap. Corded circular saws. Craig? I didn't know they carried Craig. I'm not a fan of Craig stuff. Everyone seems to love it, and it's just garbage. I shouldn't say that. I mean, it's expensive homeowner stuff. Does that make sense? And I want to know who makes their tools. I want to say it's either Porter Cable or Makita. And I'm going to go with it's Porter Cable, or what used to be Porter Cable. There really isn't Porter Cable anymore. Porter Cable kind of just went away after multiple buyouts and trades and movings, and I think you can still get some Porter Cable. I want a wide belt sander. That's what I really want. Or a drum sander. Whoops. Woodworking. Or a drum sander. That's what I really need. $1,500 for the 18-inch, which is really all I need. Actually, this 10-inch would be fine for me. Wow, that's kind of cheap. I wish I had $700. I'd buy that in a heartbeat. Buy now. Oh, it's like $150 off, $170 off right now. I think Marcus popped in and it disappeared again. 1 horsepower light duty dust collector, Polar Bear series. So basically the same thing as a Harbor Freight. I'm just goofing off. I have no idea what I'm doing. CNC. They got frickin' CNC machines. That's a new one. Shaper Origin. That's kind of expensive for tiny little CNCs. $10,000 for a frickin' 47 by 47. That thing better be darn rugged. I mean, it looks like it is. It's still kind of up there. 4x8, $23,000. Look at that frickin' thing now. That's a serious piece of tech. But I think I'd just get an Avid CNC. How much is an Avid CNC these days? Edibles. I want freaking Avid. I don't even think they'll like give you a price. Oh, there you go, $3,000. Those are the little ones though. Pro CNC kits, 4 foot by 2 foot, 4 foot by 4 foot, 4 foot by 8 foot, 5 foot by 10 foot, $8,000. 4x8 would be nice. About as big as I'd go. Don't really need anything bigger. It's pretty nice looking, huh? Configured with optional leg kit. What's up, Marcus?
Howdy, howdy.
How is life?
All right.
Can you hear the air conditioner on my mic?
I can't.
Good. There's supposed to be noise cancellation on it, but I wasn't sure. I know it's not great on this. If I had to, I'd go to the headphones. Avid CNC. You got $10,000 I can borrow, man?
I wish.
Yeah, me too. So what have you been up to? Anything fun and exciting? Oh, you're not on video. You're just on your little goofy picture in it.
Yeah, I'm working like my day job, so
You have
it's
a
best.
job?
Yeah, it's best if they don't see me on video on a stream while I'm working, probably.
Probably not, but what's the difference whether you're here on video or here on voice? But whatever.
Because they can't prove it's me. It's just an avatar.
They can't prove it's me as I say it's me because it's me. Okay. You say so. What do you actually do for a day job?
I'm a iOS app developer.
Yeah, but I thought you did that for yourself. I didn't realize you worked for someone else.
Yep, I do both. Mostly for other people, because there's just not time in the day to do too much on my own.
So you sub out then when you do it for other people. You're not actually working for a company, are you?
No, I am. It's my day job, Monday through Friday.
Really?
Yep.
An actual? Can you say the company, or would you rather not?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it. It's a software company.
No. Okay.
So we have a couple products of our own, but a big part of our business is consulting. So I'm actually working for another company.
So you're working for a company who works for another company that works for another company that works for a company. I got it. Can you make a 3D printer to 3D print a 3D printer?
Yes.
Exactly.
That confuses people because they're thinking circuitry and metal and stuff, but like I told them I could 3D print an air fryer, right? But only the plastic parts. Well,
Only the plastic parts. Actually, you could 3D print the board with the electronic transfer copper filament from Protoposter.
I guess everything is 3D printable, right? It's just I can't do it. Like
Yeah.
with my one plastic 3D printer, I can only make the plastic parts.
Yeah, with the I call it the hot glue gun 3D printer. That's all they really are is fancy hot glue guns. Hot glue, baby. Yeah, I was gonna do some modeling and everything, and then the whole internet issue freaking came up, and now I'm just not in the mood because I had to spend like an hour freaking resetting all my internet crap.
What were you gonna do? But you decided not to do?
I was gonna play in ZBrush
Oh, Zebra.
and just
Cool.
doodle. I doodle in ZBrush. I don't actually model because I can actually model halfway decent if I could use my old programs from like the 90s. The problem is stuff like ZBrush and Blender, I spend more time with the interface than actually modeling. And that just,
Right.
I lose my train of thought.
I wonder if the thing to do would be just to like move on. If you get to something you don't know how to do, just move on and come back to it.
You can't though. There's points where you just
Mm.
can't. You got to stop and fix whatever is going wrong. Was that you or me?
Yeah, that was me.
Oh.
Oh, I gotta let Ethan in. I'll be right back.
Sure. Yeah, you can't just model. You gotta learn how to fix shit. And that's 90% of the problem I'm having with both ZBrush and Blender is I can't. I don't know how to fix crap in them because there's too many settings and there's too much crap in them. I loved good old Sculptress was so good. I did so much in it and it was just so easy, and Pixelogic bought it out and screwed it all up and semi-incorporated it into their stuff and then made it worse. Made it more complicated. What is up, 3D Jeff? How is life? You were streaming for a while last night. This morning? Was it last night? My brain's so fogged I can't remember when it was. It was last night, wasn't it?
So, didn't ZBrush have a trial at some point, like a 30-day trial or something?
Yeah, they all do.
Right. So I played around with it for that trial period, and many years ago, at least 10 years ago. But then I wasn't committed, as far as time goes to continue it.
Well,
nowadays, if I was going to get back into it, I would probably do Blender just because it's free.
Yeah, but of the two complicated ones, Blender is more complicated.
Mm.
I mean, ZBrush is pretty complicated. ZBrush still has a freebie, the ZBrush Core Mini. I keep going to ZBrush because I have ZBrush Core. I got it when I bought the tablet. Years ago. And it keeps, I keep getting free upgrades to it, so I keep dabbling in it.
Cool.
I would stay with Sculptress. Like if you're on a PC and not on a Mac, which you use both, right?
Yeah.
If you're on a PC, you can still get Sculptress and run it. Sculptris is really, really good. It's free. They don't. Pixelogic
Right.
/ ZBrush bought it out like 10 years ago and just left it alone. Sculptris, just so anyone knows history, Sculptris was designed by some dude in Croatia or something. I don't know, some foreign country. And its thing was when you drew something, it would automatically tessellate it to a higher resolution, but just where you drew it, which was like unheard of. Normally, like in ZBrush, if you want to do higher detail, you have to raise all. You have to retessellate the whole thing and make it all higher resolution. With the incorporation of Sculptris, you didn't have to. Pixelogic bought the guy and said, "Whoa, this is awesome. We're going to buy you out," and incorporated it into all the ZBrushes, which most people never use, which is stupid because I absolutely loved it. But all they incorporated was the way it draws. So if you draw something, it higher resolutions just where you're drawing. It doesn't work as well as it did on its own inside the other app. It works. It's just not as good.
Yeah. So that time when I tried ZBrush, it was before that because I did have to re-subdivide, pretty much any time I wanted to sculpt anything.
The free one won't let you do that. You have to pay for it to get Sculptris.
Okay.
Because it's a built-in, you got to click on it and tell it to do it, and only certain brushes will work with it and all that stuff. ZBrush Core Mini is still free. They got rid of Sculptris when they incorporated it into ZBrush Core and ZBrush and full ZBrush, and made ZBrush Core Mini and got rid of Sculptris as a free app. Sculptris as a free app was incredible. Was it perfect? No. But if you're on a PC, you can still get it. You can still get it on the Mac too. It's just no Macs will run it anymore because they've been updated so many times. Unless you have like an antique Mac, it won't run.
Right. Well, even though Blender's more complicated, I guess I think I would still go with that because it's free. The community is huge, and and can't you do animation and stuff too in Blender? I don't know if you can do that.
You sort of can in ZBrush too. And that's the thing is, Maxon bought out Pixelogic back in December, and they just got it all approved and everything. I just this week got your Pixelogic / ZBrush account will now be a Maxon account.
Yeah.
They're incorporating Cinema 4D into ZBrush now. So, because ZBrush sorted in animation, not really great, and it wasn't high end, but it exported out better for you could put bones and structure into ZBrush and export it out into any of the super high end animation apps like Cinema 4D and what the hell is the real big one? I keep thinking Zelda. When I did it, Maya, yes. You can export out direct to a Maya format with ZBrush, which I think Blender can too. But yes, you can animate directly in Blender. It's super duper complicated. And it's not even that it's complicated, it's just it's so weird sculpting in Blender. The whole interface is odd, which it is in ZBrush too. They don't use a standard interface, either one of them. I don't know why. Why can't they just... There's a reason we have a standardized interface, because everybody knows it and it works. Moving everything around pointlessly is pointless. It doesn't... I don't know. Neither one of them are pretty standardized. My biggest problem with Blender is it absolutely has to have a 3-button mouse. And it really wants a 4-button mouse, like a 3-button with the scroll wheel, with a clickable scroll wheel.
Right.
Otherwise, you're doing like 18 different things on the keyboard at the same. It's just too complicated in the sense of the interface. And it's just, you're trying to model and you can't model when you're worried more, when you constantly have to screw with I don't know how to describe it. The
Right.
interface. The interface is the downside of both of them, as far as
So,
I know. It's
yeah, I
too.
thought the interface for ZBrush, for the basic sculpting, where you're just sculpting the clay, it's brilliant. But as soon as you start to do anything else, the interface breaks down. Now you're in menus within menus, and
Yeah, and even the again on a PC, it's not as bad. But if you're on a Mac, the whole holding buttons and because you need a 3-button mouse, and even when you're using a tablet, they want you to use a mouse alongside of it. Both of them do, which is obnoxious. I want to just like roll around in the clay and play in it like I used to do with Sculptress and have it work. It just you can't do it anymore. It's more about the interface than it is the actual sculpting. It's more you're not just playing in clay anymore like it used to be. And I did some freaking really nice stuff back in the day in Sculptress. Like really nice. I don't know if you ever I have them for download. I've got like a dragon head and a minotaur and well my llama.
yeah, I've seen the llama.
Done in Sculptress. I mean that was 100% that's simple. I mean, but that's 100% done in Sculptress. And I did this in like a half an hour or less. I mean, it's simple. There's nothing, I didn't put a lot of texture or anything into it, but.
So did you do it like I saw a lot of ways to get started, like to have a reference photo from like
No.
the 3-axis?
No.
No.
Most of my modeling is I call it doodling. I sit there and I start doodling. I just, the little ball of clay shows up and you just start drawing on it and stretching it and pulling it. And, but like I said, I've done some, I wouldn't go with it being like, Fotis or Wegster, but, my Minotaur head is really nice and the dragon head's pretty sweet too. And you could do some wicked stuff. And there was like some interface with Sculptress where, if you're having a hard time getting to it, you can mask out areas and hide them and, get in, which I did like my dragon. If you look at it, I've got some really sharp teeth and the tongue inside and everything. Same with the Minotaur. A couple other things I did. What the hell else did I do? Oh, I did Snoopy. Snoopy was one of the first things I ever did in Sculptress. And actually, I didn't even start Snoopy in Sculptress. I started Snoopy in Raid Dream Designer. That's how old that was. You probably don't even know what Raid Dream Designer is.
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, that's Raid Dream, and actually, what did they call it before Raid Dream? I think it was Raid Dream, and then it became Raid Dream Designer. Raid Dream was the first real homeowner-y, accessible, affordable modeling app, and it wasn't it was more like Blender in general. It wasn't sculpting. It was a regular 3D modeling app. But it was the first one that was homeowner accessible and easy to learn because it put everything in its own room. Like if you were ray tracing, it had a ray tracing room for rendering. It had I can't even remember all the names of them, but there was like 4 or 5 different rooms for different types of modeling. If you were doing face modeling, it had a room for that. If you were doing solid modeling, it had a room for that. And you can combine them all. You'd go in a room, you'd work on the piece, you'd come back out of the room into the studio, and poof, they'd all align, and it was awesome. And it was $200. I bought it for $200 back in the day. We're talking, God, when did I buy Ray Dream? Like 90s? Early 90s? Mid 90s? It was like the first affordable, not Maya style, because Maya was out before that, but it was the first homeowner affordable, hobbyist modeling app, and it was wicked. I did advertising with it. I made and it had video, and it was like Blender. It was the concept was a lot like Blender is now. It
The
did
first
a lot of things all in itself. I did a television ad in it once for a recording studio.
So as old as iGo is, the first big like 3D modeling app that I had heard of, but I don't think there was never a free version of it. It was called 3ds Max.
Yep.
So that's like as far as I go. And then like Cinema 4D and some others came out after that.
3D Max and 3D Max, Cinema 4D, and Maya. Cinema 4D actually started out as a affordable kind of hobbyist thing and then became professional. Cinema 4D was like one step above Ray Dream Designer, which is now Ray Dream Designer still exists. It's Daz 3D.
Yeah.
Where you can buy all the models. They bought it. And they basically, I mean, it's still there. You can still get it, but they haven't done anything. They've never upgraded it. It just kind of disappeared. And now they just call it Daz Studio.
I always felt that Daz really had the brilliant idea, which was to basically create a marketplace and just get a cut of everyone's, creations that they're selling.
Which was great for that.
And they probably make way more money than just selling software.
Well, right. They don't sell any software. Most of their software they give away.
Right.
They sell their, models.
Right. So it's like the Apple App Store, model.
Yeah. So, well, that started by being add-ons for Poser. I don't know if you remember Poser, but that was the first humanoid-y 3D app that you could go in, and that was the first real walking, talking. You could make a human walk and talk and Poser.
I remember. Yeah, I did some pretty bad keyframe animation in Poser with.
Yeah, and it worked.
Some free models or whatever.
That's another. It is still Poser's still out there.
Right.
It's kind of not really used like it used to be. It used to be an art program. Now it's more for. A lot of people, from what I understand, are using Poser with like Maya or Cinema 4D or any of those where they do the base model structure in Poser and then import it into one of the other ones. And again, it exports keyframes and bones and animation. So you can do all your basic stuff in the super fast because Poser is really fast for manipulation of the human body or animals too now.
I envision
import it into Maya or something like that to do the final renderings and editings.
Have you messed around with no, I'm forgetting the name of it, but it's called MetaHuman.
No.
So MetaHuman is the Unreal Engine, and you can kind of create your own character, and then you can export it and put it in the Unreal Engine, and and then of course then you can do animations with motion capture.
Yep.
Right, so you don't have to actually do any more keyframe animation anymore. You just put on a rig and act your characters, and then you just need voices, and you basically. Anyways, I envision at some point
that studio will do that too. So will Poser now. They all will do bones. You basically export. Right. You make the model. You pin the bones at all the joints, and then it'll do all the rest. Problem is, a lot of them, every time you move an arm, the mesh that the actual model's made of will distort incorrectly.
Right. Well, I imagine at some point you will. I say buy, but really you're renting or buying the license to use characters, sets, and props, and then you make your own little animation by yourself and possibly a couple other actors doing motion capture, and then you could possibly hire voice actors to do the voice acting, and then you create content and you release it on the Unreal
Basically,
TV.
Avatar
Yeah.
by the homeowner. Homeowners
Well,
versus Avatar.
Unreal will have, or basically, which is owned by Epic, I guess. They'll have their own subscriber based TV service, streaming service like Netflix, and it'll be free It'll be free, when you're subscribing, but then it'll strictly be user created content, which they pay pennies on the dollar for. And I think it'll be a good way for people who want to tell stories, but can't produce a movie. To get their stories out there, and then people can consume it. I think that's what I envision for the future, anyway.
That's kind of there already. I mean, that's a lot of YouTube animations or homeownery. Hell, a lot of people are doing it on their cell phones and stuff now.
Yeah, but if they streamline it to where, like, you can probably throw stuff together and end up with a workable system. But if they create the entire workflow, including the hardware, off the shelf, that you can buy off the shelf, and just start making movies, and have somewhere to put your content where there are viewers, like that's the
YouTube, Twitch, like we're doing now. The content viewing isn't the problem.
It is. There's no discoverability. If you and I made a movie and put it on YouTube, no one would see it.
Well, yeah.
But if you have editors behind the scenes, like pushing it in the people's faces of the people who subscribe to the service,
Yeah, it's getting people to subscribe, although that isn't hard to do anymore for a service like that.
That's why I don't make more apps on my own. It's like I've made a few apps on my own. It can be the best app in the world, but unless you're going to dump lots of money to show it to everyone,
yeah, advertising,
to market it, then you're wasting your time, and that's why I don't have that many apps of my own.
I don't know. There's a few people. Zolan, you want to hop in, Zolan? They still have this in there. Yep. Yeah, I mean, what? There's been a couple of write-ups on your scanning app. A lot of people saying, this is almost as good as these $1,000, buy the hardware and everything, and you're using the phone you already got.
Yeah, I should look for, like, Ethan does YouTube searches every once in a while, and then he catches me up, and so does my brother. But I should do more like just Google searches and see what articles and stuff there are.
Yeah, that's what you need to do though, is get a few biggie wiggies to freaking, do a scan and print, like con Joel into doing a write up on your scan / 3D print thing, and then poof. You just gotta get that one person that's got a lot of followers to do it once, and then it'll.
Right. I wish, any of the big YouTubers, most of which you've probably never heard of, but there are YouTubers out there, TikTokers, and are just celebrities, like A-list movie actors and stuff.
Yeah.
If they would just download it and play around with it and post their selfie on social media and say where they got the app from, that would be a huge win.
Yep. Sure would.
Neil Patrick Harris or his kids,
Yeah, there you go. He'd probably use that too. He's one of those, you could find a way to get with him and say, "Hey, dude, here's my scanning app. You should check it out." He'd probably do it.
Right. He totally want to capture his kids, Yeah.
And scan them and 3D print them.
Yep.
And he's one of those that he's, you could just tell he's just a nice guy, and he has absolutely no problem, helping out I don't even know, the average everyday person instead of a big famous person.
Neil Patrick Harris is in currently trying to create his own show where he spotlights geeky stuff. So
Yeah.
it could be board games, could be technology, could be bourbon, and yeah. So what's interesting is like he is the kind of person like who wants to give, tell other people things that he loves about, or things that he
Yeah,
loves.
I don't know. He just always seems like an easygoing guy in general. Thoughts on severe weather? The hell? I mean, where do you even come up with that? Get it. Some of these spammers, I'll leave that one there because whatever. It's a weather thing. It's not like, oh, go look at our porn site. But Tyler's Weather Corner, whatever that is. I guess it's a Twitch thing. I'm gonna have a Twitch channel about weather. I guess that would be actually weather channel-y kind of cool if you're into that. I have videos on tornadoes, and hurricanes, and crap. Sure, why not, right? Storm Chaser, there you go. See that? Yeah, okay. Storm Chasing looks kind of cool.
Yep. My parents' house got hit by a tornado probably about 10 years ago.
Really?
Oh, and they're in Michigan, which isn't the usual place.
Oh, I'm getting the itchy eyes from the air conditioning. There's got to be something inside that thing that's like all like pollen. I want to say pollen, not pollen, but moldy or whatever. But I freaking hosed it out. I literally, before I put that in, I take it outside the day before and I hit it with the garden hose and squirt it all in. And I actually just did it again today before I put the faceplate. They just put the faceplate finally on it after being in there, what, a month now? I never put the faceplate on it. And I cleaned it all out again today, hosed it all out.
I should get a window unit for my office because with my computers going and then sometimes with my 3D printers going, it does get hot in here.
Yeah. Well, that's actually a nice unit. I bought those planning on permanently mounting them. That's a slip out. It's not actually a window unit. It's an either or window unit. That cage is designed to either be a window unit, like I have it now, or you can cut a hole in the wall and mount it permanently in a box. Semi sort of like a mini split, but not really. The
Okay.
whole unit slips out of the cage. I can leave the cage in the window, leave it mounted, and the whole unit will just pull right out. 2 screws.
Okay, then you can
slides out.
then you can cover the cage.
Yeah. So if you permanently mount it, like
Mhm.
I were gonna put it like right there in that hole in the wall where it's all blank, I cut a hole there, mount the cage, and leave the cage, and then the actual hardware, the actual operation stuff, pulls out, and it's a universal cage for LG. So I could buy a different LG as long as it's an LG slip-in air conditioner, and it's the same thing. My mother's 1200 BTU is the same as my 10,000 BTU. 12,000. Her 12,000 is the same cage as my 10,000, and it goes right from the 6 to like the 22,000. All use the same cage. It's just what compressor and coolant unit, whatever, inside of it. Yeah, window wall unit. I call them slip outs, but yeah, window wall unit, I think, is their official, whatever they call them. Oh, drones. I did drones for a while. I haven't flown. I was thinking about that, I don't know, like a week ago. My freaking quadcopter. I don't think I've flown that thing in almost a year. Just sitting there, Got too much other crap going on. Yeah, we always call them slip outs. They've been around forever. I mean, we used to install slip outs back in the 80s doing construction. But pretty much everyone's replacing them now with mini splits.
So what were you going to work on ZBrush? Is it something new?
I was just going to doodle. It was just one of those. I'm kind of trapped in my room because I got sick on something last night. And I think it was just because I ate a hamburger that wasn't cooked all the way. But I kept getting really bad stomach aches. And if I go out in the heat, my head just starts throbbing. The minute I come in here with the air conditioner running, I'm fine. But if
you're quarantining yourself to be safe?
I'm not worried. It's not COVID. I know it's not that. It's just I can't. If I go out of this room for more than like 15 minutes out of the air conditioner or out in the heat, I start getting sick. And it's just the heat. I know because it's a stomach bug. I just have a stomach bug. But the heat just makes me feel worse. That makes sense. And it's freaking hot and humid out. It's not even that hot here. It's only in like the 80s. But it's humid as hell. It's 85% humidity here now. Which is, I mean, that's high even for us. And it just makes me feel like crap. I don't feel bad. I mean, I can feel my stomach's a little annoyed, but it's not like a big deal. I go outside, my stomach will start churning in about 10 minutes. My head will spin. I'll have a headache. And it happened I kept trying to go out in the garage and do stuff, and it kept happening. I was like, you know what? I am not going to play with tools that can cut my hand off while I'm not feeling well. It just ain't going to happen.
So, I think I have a meeting in a couple minutes, so I'm going to drop off.
Yeah, I'm probably not even going to stream that much longer. I can't believe I actually got it to work again.
Right. Cheers.
Maybe it is COVID. I highly doubt it because I don't go anywhere. I don't do anything. I don't deal with anybody. I haven't been outside and I haven't seen another person other than my brother showed up yesterday, but I wouldn't have gotten it that fast off of him. And he didn't even like really come in the house. My brother's going to a funeral somewhere and his kids are going, somebody they knew. So they all met here because it's kind of the central location. They're going down to the funeral. So him and his kids and wife and everybody all met here and they dropped off cars in the yard and took one car down. Later, Marcus. I hadn't heard anything about heat tolerance, but I don't know. I'm already feeling better. I can tell. I have a feeling of this. My brother brought swordfish that he had gotten from my mother. And I'm not a big swordfish person. I think, I'll eat it. I don't have a problem with it, but it's freaking expensive. My mother loves it, and I don't really care about it. So I bought some swordfish steaks down. So I cooked her one and put the rest in the freezer. I just cooked me a hamburger because I'd rather have the hamburger than the swordfish and save just slabs of swordfish for her. But I didn't cook the hamburger enough. It was still kind of raw in the middle. And it wasn't just rare in the middle. It was raw in the middle, which I actually like. But I know it's not good for me because I've had food poisoning 3 times in my life now. So I normally overcook everything because of that. And this is kind of what this feels like. This feels like I got food poisoning again. Because that's kind of what happened the last time I got it. Because I've had the shits all morning too, which that's gone away. But I haven't eaten anything, so anyway, enough of that. Marcus is gone. You know what? Maybe I will play with ZBrush for 5 minutes. I wonder if it'll let me. Because that's the other thing is I haven't updated any of this crap. And ZBrush kind of doesn't like sharing the video card. I have noticed. So, and it doesn't hurt anything. Sometimes with ZBrush, or at least with my ZBrush, when I'm sharing, ZBrush will just shut down or will lock up. You do a doodle, or it'll start lagging, which it's already starting to do. Well, not terrible. See, this is Sculptris. I was talking about Sculptris. See how it's all like little triangles? If I paint with Sculptris now, see how much smoother that is? It'll actually rewrite, and if you go and look at the line, see how much more detail it is? That's what I always loved about Sculptris. And but I liked it better as its own app than built into ZBrush. Just because I find ZBrush confusing, and it's mostly just because I've never sat down and just really learned it. I just want to do this kind of stuff and just play. And it's the interface is just, it's a lot to learn. And I just don't ever have the time to sit down and learn it. And I have sat down and kind of learned it a few times. The problem is then I'll go back like a month later and I'll forget half of what I learned. And then it does weird stuff, like they want you to use this, where is it, geometry, Dynamesh, like Dynamesh stuff. It loses some of the resolution that I just put in it. See, it brought it down to, in fact, I can probably open recent. Yeah, here you go. Let's save. No, I don't need to save anything. I was trying to work on this thing, and I wanted to Dynamesh it. That dynamic subdivision. Where the hell did Dynamesh go? Okay, go away. Stop with you. That's the other thing I can't stand about it. Dynamesh. There it is. It made everything go away, which really annoys me. And there's a setting. I know there is. That'll fix that. And right now, after fixing this, starting to model this, for some reason, there's this. See, this is the other thing I don't like is this hold and move. It's got a hole in it now for some reason, and I don't know how to fix it. Where in Sculptris, I knew how to fix it. I could just overlap the two and then change the resolution, and it would go away. Where I can't fix this. And it won't let me. It just destroys everything. I can't get it to do what I want it to do. Can't patch that hole. It won't fix itself. I can't get it to fix itself. I want it to like overlap and then re-resolution it, but it won't let me do it. So anyways, No, file. These are all the goofy things I've done in ZBrush. Here, let's trying to make Brian Vines. Does that look like Brian Vines? No, I do not look like Brian Vines. We get ground chuck for that reason. Generally cleaner, safer. Yeah, this is just frozen hamburger I had. We are having an issue with exporting out of Blender. It's turning the STL into a low poly. Never STL export out of Blender. I have heard that one. I don't know the technicality about it, but always export as an object. OBJ file. And then find something else to convert it to an STL. I have heard something about that, and I don't know. I can't remember the actual technical reasoning for it. Here's the other thing I can't stand about freaking ZBrush, and this is all the ZBrush. Why is this even here? Make it go away. That's just another thing that confuses me when I'm looking at it. What's the difference between this and this? And why is this even here? Why? Why is it there? I don't want it. I don't need it. And where are all my subtools? Why is there no subtools? Where'd they all go? That's a subtool. I know it is, and yet they're all gone. The subtool is just another model. It's basically another model inside the model, another object. Let's open this one. See, there's my subtool. This one's got the subtool because the eyebrows and the beard. And I can move the beard around. That works. But why did the other one lose the subtool? And why does this cylinder always have to be there? Go the fuck away. That just, when I go to look up there, it's like, what's this cylinder for? Every time. And I know it is there. Blah, blah, blah. It doesn't need to fucking be there. Pardon my French. It needs to go away. I need to bring this over here so I can see chat. Yeah, I was trying to, not that he's watching, so I don't care, but I was trying for his birthday, literally like 2 years ago, I started doing this. For Brian Vines' birthday, you know how everyone does the model for your birthday thing. I was going to do the hairy Brian, where I make a bald Brian Vines, since he started growing his hair real long, like a hippie. And I was going to do the hairy lion thing, where you print it and you have all the strings and then you hit it with a hair dryer or whatever, hot air gun, and you can model his hair. I was going to do a hairy Brian, like the hairy lion. It was like going to be a funny joke. I just couldn't get it done right. What I need to do is get it's very pixelated, isn't it? Is it not showing the the ZBrush window well? I'm looking at it now and it looks very pixelated. It's very, very pixelated. Let's go back to just, see now ZBrush doesn't like sharing the video card. It's all locked up. ZBrush likes to lock up if it's sharing the video card for some reason. It works fine as long as I'm just doing it. The minute I try and run something else, I can stream it as long as I don't go to this window and then back to ZBrush. The minute I go back to ZBrush, it locks up. And it completely locks up the app. Anyway, that was fun for about 10 seconds. And Blender, I just can't. There's too much bouncing around you. You're in sculpting, and then you have to go back to the general 3D modeling for some stuff to go back to the sculpting for some stuff. You can't just sculpt in Blender. There's a lot of times to do some, like movement and adjustments. You have to go back to the general modeling, even though you're sculpting, which is annoying. Otherwise, I kind of like Blender. But every time I have to do that, it just pisses me off. And you don't realize you have to do it until you do it. And then you go, why won't this work? And you do a Google search and say, oh, you got to go back to the general modeling to do that. Why? And they call it something else. It's not general modeling, called something. Anyway, I think I'm going to kill it. It's been fun. It's been real. I need to, 4 o'clock. I'm going to have to make dinner, which means I got to go out in the heat. Not that it's that hot. It's 30 degrees Celsius outside. There's like a prickly thing in my shirt right here, annoying me, poking me in the shoulder. I don't know what it is, but it's really annoying. It's like poking me. Like a little metal shaving or something stuck in my shirt. Anyway, I think I'm going to kill it. It's been fun. It's been around. You all have a wonderful afternoon. Seizures.